Hey guys, how's it going? So we're going to continue to look at Galatians, and so what we've been doing is we've started big. We looked at the whole Bible. Last time we talked about kind of the Old and the New Testament. Now that we're in the New Testament, we're going to start hitting on Galatians. We're going to just talk a little bit about what it is today, and then we'll start doing a couple, we'll do like a day for a chapter and things like that for Galatians. So Galatians was written by a guy named Paul. Paul most time starts off his books telling you who he is, and one of the things that he most often says is that he is an apostle or a servant, or you might could even translate that word slave of Christ. And so he writes to the church in Galatia. What he's doing is he's writing to a group of believers, and the biggest thing that I see in this book is Paul talking about the law or rules and regulations, talking about grace and the freedom that is in the salvation of Jesus Christ. And then once something that big, like a new heart being placed in a sinful body, how that then has effects. Like it just absolutely has to. And so as we walk through Galatians, what we're going to see is Paul call out the law for its limitations, which should be encouraging to us. Man, living here in the South, where Christianity, at least culturally, is still a big, man, you can look the part of religion and it won't ever save you. And Paul's going to address the limitations of good rules and ties and a clean haircut and clean shaven and like just walking the walk. He's going to tell us how that's not going to bring us to a right relationship with God. He's then going to say that God is so good and so loving that he's just going to give us this free gift of salvation that sets us free, sets our hearts free to just run after him, to just love him, to just be in a personal relationship with the God of the universe. And then before he closes it out, he's going to then tell us, because this is such a big deal, this love, this impact on our heart is so huge, what it's going to do is it is by its very nature going to affect what we think, how we feel, and what we do. And the order of Galatians isn't on accident, it's intentional. It's starting Old Testament with the law. It hits New Testament hard with grace and love. And then it shows how our relationship with God will transform us. And it's important not to get any of these steps backward. And so it's one of the reasons why I encourage us not to be so dependent in our daily reading on devotionals, because we're taking someone's word for what that verse or chapter they're going to tell us is all about. But when we read whole books of the Bible for ourselves, we can really see what's happening. And so we can take verses from the end of Galatians, and if we're not careful, we can make them say things that Paul is not, and God is not wanting them to say, because it's going to mention about how our lives are shaped and how we behave. But he's not going to say this in this is what makes you look good before God kind of way. He's going to say this in God is so big that when we have come into that right relationship with him, it will transform us. And so as you are reading through Galatians, and I hope you're reading through it with me, just remember this order as we read verse by verse, chapter by chapter through Galatians. The law and what it can and cannot do, and what it has done and what it will do. What the free grace of salvation and God's love toward us will do to our hearts. And then once we have those new hearts, how that will affect who we are and the actions that overflow from that. If you're enjoying these videos, and I hope you are, please give them a like, a subscribe, share them with your friends. Hope this is helpful in your walk with Christ. Love you guys.